Wonderful. So, welcome everybody to the Ultimate Thrive event for swimsuit season. I'm Elle Grinnell, your benevolent host and leader as a 35-year plus fitness professional. And I've written two very successful books. One is Chocolate Cake for the Thighs that I wrote in 2006. It's 101 helpful tips. It's about everything but dieting. It's the anti-diet book for women. And even though I wrote that in 2006, I still continue to get royalty checks, and I stay in the top 100, sometimes making the top 10 on Amazon. And I find that to be very exciting. The other is more recently, and the one I'm passionate about because it literally, in some cases, is helping to save lives. Get happier and healthier now. 7 steps to improved health and a body you can love. And then I also have another book called The Teen Whisperer. So, yes, I love to write. I love to teach. I've been teaching group fitness since 1984. Woo! And I just love it. I know how to count to 8 in more creative ways than anybody you've ever met, or a 32 phrase. And so, my intention today is for us to have fun. What I would like is that I will give you, ideally, things that you were either never aware of before, had never considered, or knew, yet for some reason have been unwilling to do. Okay, so that being said, when I ask you to put things in the chat, remember to just hold your comments for just a moment. And then when I say waterfall, then hit the enter and we'll go in together. Okay, so let's try that now. If you would, please, ladies, put in the chat, what do you love most about swimsuit season? Waterfall. Beautiful. And did you hear mine? What I love most? Mine was an audio. Oh, I love parties. I was playing the tequila song. Okay, so thanks for sharing. Now, one more question before we get rolling, and this one's a little deeper, is do you feel comfortable in your swimsuit? Yes or no? And you can go ahead and just pop it in right away. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to be addressing all of that and more. So beginning with, as I told you before you registered, I really, really am passionate about taking action. So all my vlogs, all my teaching, all my coaching, everything I do is all about action steps and accountability. And then when we stumble or we fall, then we dive deeper into the neurological reasons as to why those types of things are happening. Okay, so these are the 3 things we're going to cover today. Why counting steps, calories, and points fail you. It's not your fault. 5 ways to keep your body toned all year long. I love this, being a group fitness professional. And also how to curb your cravings. That's a real important one, because the whole idea today is to learn how to love your body. And we're going to do that physically and mentally, both, in what we're doing today. And then, of course, I have a bonus thing. So let's start with why counting steps and calories fail you. I'm not a fan of either of these things. And I was with my family for a while. We were doing these step challenges and stuff. And it's easy for me when I was teaching group fitness classes to get that 10,000. But I'll be honest with you, 10,000 steps a day is a lot. That's a big ask. And so when people get in 2,000 steps, they feel like, yeah, I'm a loser, or I'm lazy, or here come all the labels that keep on the fat and keep us unhealthy and unhappy. And the same thing goes with counting calories. So when you count calories, you feel like you're on restriction. You feel like you're being punished. And even with, I love Weight Watchers. It has done wonders for millions of people. However, when you count points, it's the same kind of thing. There's a number where once you hit that number, then you can't have anything. And that's not how we're motivated. We're not motivated by feeling like a loser or feeling less or feeling not enough or frustrated. And so, like when we're counting steps and calories and points and all of that, or even weighing ourselves, let's throw that number into there. So, you're doing well and you look at the numbers and they're not that great. And so you say, forget it. I thought I was doing really good. I thought I was doing really well. And so then you reward yourself with something, something that's, high in calories and fat or whatever. Okay. Then the other thing is when you do well and you hit those 10,000 steps, for example, or more, 12,000, you say, wow, I deserve a reward. And so then you eat something that is probably calorie dense or fatty or whatever, right? And so that's why I'm opposed to the numbers. Now, there's somebody who I consider a guru in the fitness industry who once told me, Elle, numbers are like your bank account. If you don't keep an eye on them, they get out of control. And I do agree with that. I'm not saying don't ever step on the scale. I step on only when my clothes are feeling tight so I can see what damage I've done and then set a plan of action to get back to where I want to be. But when we weigh ourselves every day, it's really frustrating. So I'm asking you to sometimes read the food label and see how many fat and calories and all of that is in what you're about to eat. Remember to read that food label before you eat it, not while you're sitting there shoveling it in. So the food labels, those numbers are valuable, even though they're not totally accurate. At least they're a point of measure. And so just to recap this part, the numbers aren't going to get you where you want to be. They're not going to help you feel toned. They're not going to help you love yourself when you look in the mirror and when you put on your swimsuit and, head out to whatever body of water that you're headed to. They're not the way to do it. So they fail you because if you do well, then you eat as a reward. And if you don't do well, then you eat because you're unhappy. Okay, hope that makes sense as we move on to the next one. How can you curb those cravings? So many of us can do well, and then there's that one little, there's a switch or there's a flip or there's a trigger or there's something that makes us crave things. So I want to talk about cravings so that you can understand how to best curb them for you. One thing to consider is the psychological aspect of, and I'm telling you, people, this is a true story. My weakness is chips, specifically potato chips. So if the bag is in the closet, when I'm in the kitchen or even close to the kitchen, the chips say, hello, I can hear them talking to me. And I am not insane. But I'm telling you, this is a true story. I hear them calling my name, saying, we love you, come get us, we can make you happy, all of these types of things. And so the way that I deal with that, we'll do air quotes insanity, is to not have them in my house. Okay, so the first step to curbing your cravings is to make your home a sanctuary. So if you cannot have those things that are your downfall, so to speak, then the things that you don't have control over once you. So I say as jokingly, if the bag is open, the bag is empty. And it was even worse when I used to buy chips from Costco because if the bag was open, the bag was empty. And so I just don't bring chips home. And I will have them out. If I stop at a sandwich shop, I get the little bag. And on occasion, I will bring the little bag home if I know I'm going to be having something that I like chips with, like a sandwich. So again, it's that little bag that you can buy at 7-Eleven or here it's OXO. And that allows it to be portioned controlled. Okay, so that brings me to the second actionable step for curbing your cravings, and that's portion control. So whatever it is that you overindulge in, and I'm going to use here the example ice cream or any kind of dessert. make sure that you serve yourself up from a teacup instead of a cereal bowl. Or that, say, if it's cookies, that you put 2 or 3 on a little platter and then you close up the bag and you put it away. What this does is it allows us the feeling of like, yay, I had some cookies. Yay, I had some ice cream. Yay, I had some chips. And it can help curb the cravings. Now, here's the caveat to this one. This one does not work if you have no self-control with cookies or ice cream or chips. So sometimes just having 3 cookies will open the floodgate and now you can't stop. So if you know that's your personality, then you have to go back to the previous step, which is make your home a sanctuary and don't have those things that can trigger those cravings to lunatic proportions. Okay, and then the third thing about kicking your cravings to the curb is to have them be just as a reward or just at a certain time. So maybe you'll say, well, I'll only have dessert when I'm eating out. And then go one step further and share the dessert, except for when you're with a man, because they don't know how to share. And so something that I do is I have what's called, and I think this is worth writing down, Decadent Sunday. On Sunday mornings, I have whatever I want with my coffee. Cake, pudding, 5 cookies, something sweet, right? And that curbs my craving for the entire week because psychologically, I know that Sunday's coming and I'm going to get it then. So there's something about the reward system that can really motivate us to success. Oh, but now here we go back with the caveat. If you are compulsive about your cravings and just having that one waffle will open the floodgates to you wanting sugar all day long and all week long, then you got to go back to the first one, which is make your home a sanctuary and just don't have those things there. Fruit is a good substitute for sugar. I think you know that. You can overeat with fruit as well because it is, it is still sugar, but it's nature's sugar. And it also comes with fiber. So you're getting a lot of things, accomplished with that. Okay. And then there's one other thing, because there's always a bonus with cravings, and that is understand that we crave something. So if out of the blue all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I really want some chili cheese fries, that's something that I like, then you want to ask yourself, why am I craving that? And here's the answer. Your body will crave things that it needs from a dietary standpoint. What that means is if you need more water, to be drinking more water, because I don't drink a lot of water, my body will crave salty foods, chili cheese fries, off the charts salty, because then I will crave water. Does that line of thinking make sense? And so if you're craving ice cream, maybe you need more calcium. Maybe you need some vitamin D. Maybe you need, so take a look at the food, the label, the content of what you're craving from a dietary standpoint, and see what you may be lacking in and see if there's healthier ways to get that. So like calcium is spinach. Like I love spinach in a salad, definitely. And so get creative with why are you craving? Ask yourself, why this? Sometimes we crave things because we're not happy with ourselves. We have negative thoughts, which then put us in a downward spiral that make us crave foods that will make us overweight, unhappy, not confident, because our body can take us into a pity party. Okay, so that's another reason why we have cravings sometimes. So just really look at it, like take the lid off of it and shine a light in there and say, what's this about? And then you'll learn a lot more about your body, which will then allow you to really understand why and how cravings work. So you can curb those cravings by smaller portions, right? Using them as a reward system, not bringing them into the house, and evaluating what they're all about. Okay. And so now you know that you are not insane if food talks to you. It happens to a lot of us. And it's actually another good way to really analyze the voices in our head so we can understand when it's our true source speaking and when it's our ego trying to run the ship. Next, 5 ways to keep your body tone all year round. All year round. So I've always been in good shape because I was an athlete. My mom had us in softball, and I started playing softball at the age of 8 and didn't stop playing until COVID. And other just things. I love basketball. I taught group fitness again pre-pandemic, and so my body was always not phenomenal. I was, never one of those super buff ladies, but always in good shape, always healthy, never sick. I cared for every sick person in the family and never got sick. And because a lot of that has to do with stress management. And when your body is vibrating and humming at a higher level, not a stress level. A stress level is really tight and dark, right? So happiness is a higher, lighter vibration. And so that's what moving our body does for us. So these 5, excuse me, these 5 tips all come from the book, Chocolate Cake for the Thighs, the anti-diet book for women. And these are just some of my favorites. There's easily 20 plus more in that book. Excuse me. I'm getting excited. Okay. Number 1. All right. Let me actually preface by saying you may know some of these. And I'm laughing but do you do them? Do you use them? Because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So here we go. Number 1, park far away in parking lots. Great way to get in some extra steps. Not that you're counting them, but at the end of the day, they all matter. Instead of stressing yourself around sharking for a spot, which can be stressful, just take that far away spot and walk. It's also easier to find your car when it's far away. And you're less likely to get those door dings, which I lived in Hawaii for 18 years, and those were inevitable because parking stalls were too teeny tiny. And we also had trade winds that would fling doors open. Okay, but I digress. So park far away and walk. So you're microdosing that little bit of exercise that at the end of the day makes a difference, as well as take the stairs whenever possible. Okay, so if you work on the 8th floor, that's a lot of steps. That would be wonderful, but you might be sweaty and disheveled by the time you get to your office. I'm talking about when you're at the mall and there's 2 levels. So you're parked on one level, take the steps up to the next one. Or if there's an opportunity to take the steps down or whatever. So generally, 1 level is doable for everybody. So do it. Tell yourself, I can do that. Not, I don't want to do that. And so I currently now live in a 3-story walk up. And I thought, no problem. I'm in good shape. My legs are really strong. And I will tell you, when I come up the steps with my groceries or my water or my wine, and so I'm carrying another, 12 to maybe even 20 pounds, when I get to the top, I have to stop and breathe. And it really took me by surprise the first time that it happened. And so I've only been here a month, and I'm microdosing those steps because I have to. There is no elevator. And I've definitely noticed an improvement, even in just a few weeks. And so this was a situation where I had to take the steps, and I'm grateful for it, very grateful for it. But I allowed myself to stop at the top of those steps and go, whoa, let's breathe for a moment. Let's put the stuff down, expand those lungs, get that oxygen in, and then pick the stuff up and then go to my place. And so be kind to yourself, I think, is the important part of that. So that's a three-parter, right? So park far in parking lots, take the stairs whenever possible. And just to allow yourself, that third part of this is that it's microdosing, that extra caloric burn that makes a difference, because we get at our ideal rate by doing the candle like this, right? Less calories in, better quality and more action. Okay, number 2, the talking head workout. Okay, this one's really fun. I used to call it the commercial workout, but there aren't really commercials anymore. Hopefully, you don't have to watch regular TV anymore. So now it's called the talking head workout. So here's what you do. You get a mat out on the floor, an exercise mat. If you don't have one, go get one and get kind of a thick one, not a yoga mat, because on the floor, unless you have good carpeting, you need a little bit more padding. So the talking head workout is to do this for 30 minutes every day, anytime you're watching television. So what you do is you're watching your show, like I've been watching Ted Lasso, and you pick a character. Okay, so I pick a character, and if I really want to work out, I pick Ted, right? If I want to work out, a fair amount, then I'll pick his assistant. And if I want to work out occasionally, I'll pick one of the smaller characters. And so what you do is every time that person speaks, you're on the mat, and while they're talking, you do crunches or you do side leg lifts or whatever. Just make it up. You just whatever. You know how to work out on a mat. You've seen Jane Fonda and whatever all those years. So while they're talking, and then you can rest and you can sit back up on the couch, do whatever. But when that character comes back on, so it's called the talking head workout, right? So if you like if you watch the news, when a certain newscaster speaks, you're going to get on the mat and work out. Okay, so this is a fun way to get in your workouts every day. Super fun way. Doesn't feel like exercise at all. And it doesn't wear you out, doesn't make you sweat, but it begins to tone your body rapidly and properly. Number 3, the impromptu free weight workout. This is another super fun one. So during the day, we all pick up things that are a little bit heavy, anywhere between 1 to say maybe 8 pounds. Okay, so I'm going to give the example of you've just brought home the groceries and you're about to put the things in the refrigerator. So here's the chance to do your impromptu free weight workout. So you have the milk, maybe it's a half gallon, and it weighs whatever it weighs, a little bit. So before you open the refrigerator door, take whatever this thing is, the bag of potatoes, whatever, and hold it in your center. So your elbows are by your rib cage, and then tighten your abs a little bit below your belly button. So suck your gut in just a little bit, and then twist 10, 9, 8, 7, or just as long as you want to. Okay, and then put the stuff away. When you pick up the next heavy one, maybe do some bicep curls and then switch hands and do some bicep curls. Again, I know you know how to work out. You don't need a personal trainer. You know how to move your body, but I will tell you to make sure that no matter what you do, always pull your belly in just a little bit to give your lower back the support it needs. Okay, so that's the free weight workout. Whatever it might be your purse, it might be the groceries, you might be moving the fan from one room to another, so you can just do some lifts with it. So this, my friends, is microdosing, toning up your body. It doesn't take much for your body to start to respond and start to look more the way that you're hoping that it will. When you look in the mirror, you will notice a difference. Okay, number 4, the lower body line workout. Now this one takes confidence. I'm just going to say that. There are times when we're waiting in line, and I'm going to say, especially at the big box stores, there are times when the line is long. And so when you're in line, you probably will have a basket because it's a big box store. And if you don't, it still works. Just hold your things in front of you, engage your core. And while you're standing in line, just do side leg lifts. Just do so. Or to the back a little bit, straight leg, bent leg, or turn your toes out, do tiny little plie, ballerina dips, just small. And you can even do a little bit of a squat and stand and squat. And you can do it really small. because we're talking about microdosing to keep your body toned all year long in all situations. Now, I mean, I kind of joke when I say you can really take this to the max. Now, I used to do this in Costco because it was close to the club where I used to teach. So there would always be women there that knew me all the time. And they were always looking in my cart to see what things I was buying. And so you can literally, if you're very confident, do really deep squats and stand. And people are going to know what you're doing. It's going to make sense, and you're going to get a better workout. But again, you have to have this level of confidence and love for life to be able to do that. However, going back, I'm saying you can also do them very small. And yes, you're going to draw a little bit of attention, but it's okay because it's about you and your health. And if you want to get moved up in the line quickly, then grunt a little bit, do some squats, and then try to get you out of the store sooner. Okay. So seriously though, it's called the lower body line workout. Whenever you're working in line, standing in line, you can be using those legs for toning. And then the fifth one is probably the most obvious. Join a club, whatever it might be, a health club, a salsa club, a yoga studio, and actually go. Get your money's worth. You want to go generally a minimum of 3 times a week. Shoot for 5. And that way, if you fall short, you're still going to get in 3 or 4. So actually go. And the best way to have success in this area is to get a buddy. Because that way, if you're feeling grumpy or tired or whatever, you know your friend is going or your friend is texting you and you're like, nah, I'm not feeling well. You know, I'm tired or I'm hungry or whatever. And they're going to say, come on, you'll be so happy you did. And you'll do the same for them. Because I can be honest with you, I've been teaching aerobics since 1984. I have taught thousands of classes, and never once in my life when a class was over did I say, well, that was no fun. Wish I hadn't have done that. And you won't either, because the endorphins kick in and we feel like winners. So I've always admired the people that showed up in my class every day, day after day after day. I just so admired them because there's days when I'm grumpy, that I'm tired, that I'm hungry, and I show up for class because it's my job and I love it. But these people in my class show up anyway. So I have so much admiration and respect for people who make a commitment to join a club or a studio or whatever and actually show up and get their money's worth. Okay, so those are your 5 tips with action steps, and they're all from the book Chocolate Cake for the Thighs, the anti-diet book for women. And here's a bonus. I love bonuses. I throw them out like gold coins. Okay, so your bonus is to make sure that you get a buddy who is not a pity party person. Okay. So if you have a buddy where you're like, oh man, I had such a rough day, I don't feel like working out. And your buddy goes, yeah, let's go get a drink or let's go get some nachos. And then you commiserate over it. Okay. That's not a good buddy. So your bonus is make sure you have a good accountability buddy who's going to help pull you up by the bootstraps, take you out of the darkness, and have you join them, because I guarantee you that working out, the endorphins and the serotonin and all the things that kick in, you deserve. Okay, so if you would put in the chat, out of all of that, those 5 tips and the actions within each one, would you please type in which one of those could you start today? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Oh, good. So, it makes me happy when some of these things are what you already do, because when they just who you are, then it's not a habit. Does that make sense? You're not saying I have the habit of parking far away in parking lots. It's just what you do. And then you can add another one and you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then you just don't think about it anymore. Just like how you brush your teeth. You don't say, I have the habit of brushing my teeth. And then once it's mastered, you can add on a new thing. So what happens is people try to make too many changes at one time. They're like, yeah, I want to do this. And it's too much and it's overwhelming. And the sense of failure can kick us back to square one, and sometimes even worse than back to square one. Okay. So thanks for sharing that with me. And so then lastly, we went over the 3, but can I tell you, there's a bonus. So besides the 3 that I promised, we got to go over one more. And this one's called body love. And I don't know that you're going to like this one, but I promise from the bottom of my heart that when you do this, you will begin to see a difference and it will amaze you. Okay, so number 1, when you look in the mirror, stand there naked and tell your body, thank you, I love you. You are amazing. You are beautiful. And then when you lotion up, I'm very dry, so I lotion up because I have to. So if you don't really, after you shower or bath, do the body lotion, then just every day, just take a little bit of lotion and you're going to go up your backside along your butt and stroke up and say, perky and firm, perky and firm. I love you. You're so perky and firm. And do the same thing with your boobs. Lotion up, sides, and lift them up against gravity. Be their savior and say, perky and firm, perky and firm. I love you. You're so perky and firm. Now, this is a big ask. And all I can tell you is, number 1, it does work because your body loves you and it loves being loved in return. Number 2, I'm not going to be there. So I'm not going to know if you do it. Chances are you'll do it alone. All of that is good. And so I'll be checking in with you next month to see if you did it. I hope that you will every day. It only takes 90 seconds, if even that. And you can do it with your entire body, saying that I love you. And I want to know, honestly, if you've seen an improvement in the tone and firmness of your body. Okay, so then that being said, if you would right now, this is the other thing about body love in the bonus. Take your hands, place them over your heart, and close your eyes for a moment. And then repeat after me, either out loud or in your head. You're going to really sink into your body, the beautiful temple that houses your amazing soul, and say, thank you, I love you. I love you for everything you do for me every day without me having to ask, because you love me so unconditionally. And I promise to be a better listener and heed your words, because I also love you. And I also promise to remember that I am literally a walking, talking, breathing miracle. And so it is. And really let that be your truth, and that higher vibration lift you. And when it feels good, go ahead and open your eyes and come on back, taking all the time that you need. And so that body love, besides perky and firm, and if you don't want to do it in front of the mirror, just start by doing it and affirming a perky and firm body. Is this one you can do anytime you may be second guessing yourself. Sink into your body and say, thank you, I love you, because it carries us through life. It does so much for us every day behind the curtain, because it does love us unconditionally, especially the heart. Okay, so that, my friends, draws us to conclusion. We talked about why the numbers fail you and some alternatives for that, as well as how to curb your cravings. And almost all of this is psychological, but there are also action steps behind that. And then the 5 ways, hopefully unique ways, to tone your body. And remember that this is an all year, everyday kind of thing, including body love. Okay, so you made it all the way to the end. And I promise for those of you who were able to be here live today that there would be prizes. So everybody's receiving the replay. Share it with anybody that you think could benefit from what we did today. And then everybody's also receiving the digital copy of my book, Get Happier and Healthier Now. And again, that's the digital book. So it's not an Amazon ebook. It's an actual PDF of the book. And then for those of you who are live today, dun, 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 your bonus gift is your prize. I'm going to mail you a copy of Chocolate Cake for the Thighs. Let me grab one real quick and show you. Uh-oh. Where did I put him? Ah, I forgot I put him outside. I need them to stay where they won't get moisture and dry up. Okay, so Chocolate Cake for the Thighs, the anti-diet book for women, 101 helpful and fun tips. And the name on there is LK Grinnell. So LK is my legal name. And once I started writing full time, I went to the pen name L Grinnell, which is, you all know me as L Grinnell. So I will be putting that in the mail to you. Let's see, Lori, do you own that book already? Have I already sent you that, mailed you that? Okay. Ladies, I love this book because number one, it's my first baby. And secondly, because there's just so many baby action steps in there, and you just take one and work it, and then you just take another one and work it. And then next thing you know, you're continuously happy and healthy and living in a body you love. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording right now so that I can get your addresses and have my VA get that out to you. So again, thanks for being here. There it is.